imagine you're walking into this sprawling, ancient house. It's, isolated maybe out in the woods somewhere, completely shrouded in shadows.
Oh, I like where this is going. Setting the scene.
Right. So you step through the front door, and at first you're just looking at the floorboards, the walls, the heavy oak furniture.
Yeah,
It all seems normal.
just a regular, if slightly creepy, old house.
Exactly. But as you wander from room to room, this strange pattern starts to emerge, like the dimensions of the hallways, the really sharp angles of the staircases, the precise number of panes in the windows.
None of it is arbitrary.
None of it. And you realize, with this sudden chill down your spine, that the architecture itself is a hidden code.
Yeah.
The house isn't just a physical shelter. It is a meticulously constructed message designed by this master architect, and you are trapped right in the middle of the mystery.
It totally forces you to rethink every single step you take in there. You stop being just a passive observer and you become an investigator.
Tracing your fingers along the walls.
Yeah, trying to read the cipher before the house reads you.
I love that. And that creeping, suspenseful realization that there is a hidden, calculated architecture beneath everyday reality. That is the exact mission of our deep dive today.
We are definitely leaning into the suspense today. I mean, it's warranted for this topic.
It really is. We are launching an investigation into basically the ultimate locked room mystery, which is the cosmic blueprint of the universe itself.
The big one.
Yeah, the biggest one. We are pulling our primary evidence from Chapter 17 of a text called Klach, Pitchei, Chochma.
Using Abraham Greenbaum's 2005 translation, right?
That's the one. And our target today is what the text calls the government of the worlds, the Hanhaga.
Right, the Hanhaga.
We're going to decode how the universal powers are categorized, how they mechanically extend into the reality you and I actually experience every day.
And we're going to uncover a deeply, honestly kind of unsettling mathematical twist.
Oh, it's so wild.
It really is. It ties these massive, abstract cosmic forces directly into the literal sinews of your own physical body.
It's going to be quite the ride. So since we are dealing with this specific text, let's look at how it establishes the foundational rules of this reality first.
Yeah, let's lay the groundwork. So the text opens with a proposition that separates the cosmic government into two distinct conceptual frameworks.
Sefaria and Partsuf.
Exactly.
Right.
Sefaria and Partsuf. And, we've encountered these concepts before in various mystical frameworks.
Right, but let's look at how this specific chapter operationalizes them. The translator's notes point out that the Hebrew word sephira carries this dual mechanical function here, which is interesting.
Yeah, it implies radiating light, but it also means counting.
Yeah.
Like being a singular quantifiable unit within a larger set.
Right, so what does that mean in plain English for our cosmic house?
Well, the text defines a sephira as one power out of 10 overall powers. It is the broad foundation, the raw root from which an entire structure of particulars is eventually built.
Okay, so pure potential.
Pure, unmitigated potential. A distinct frequency of cosmic energy before it has actually been shaped into anything usable.
So return to our isolated house analogy. The sephira is like the raw blueprint and the foundational wooden framing.
That's a perfect way to look at it, yeah.
You look at the framing and say, okay, this area is designated for the kitchen, this specific beam is bearing the load. It just establishes the overarching parameters of the space.
But framing alone doesn't sustain life, right? You can't, wash your hands in a conceptual blueprint.
I've tried. It doesn't work.
It really doesn't. You need the functional interface, the finished operational systems to understand how the house actually governs the people living inside it.
And that is where Partsuf comes in, right?
Exactly. The word denotes a face or an overall visage.
The interface.
Yeah.
The part of the system that actually looks back at you.
That's a great way to put it. The text explains that a partsuf is the detailed array that shows the complete perfection of each whole power.
Okay.
So if the sephira is the broad abstract power, the partsuf is the highly specific functional mechanism of that power in action.
To push the house analogy even further, if the sephira is the raw architectural framing, the partsuf isn't just like the drywall.
No, it's way more detailed.
It's the precise way the copper plumbing routes through those walls to ensure the sink delivers water at the exact pressure you need to survive.
Yes. The framing, the sephira, dictates where the walls go. But the plumbing, the partsuf, is the localized, functioning reality you actually interact with on a daily basis.
Okay, so historically, let's talk about the detectives in this mystery. There were two brilliant philosophical detectives who approached this cosmic architecture from entirely different angles back in the 16th century.
Right. Rabbi Moshe Cordovero and the Holy Rav, the ARI.
Yeah. So Cordovero looked at the mystery and mapped the broad strokes. He interpreted esoteric texts, like the Zohar, completely through the macro lens of the Sephiro.
The foundational blueprint.
Exactly. Meanwhile, the ARI bypassed the broad framing and zoomed intensely into the micro level.
He was all about the details.
Yeah, he mapped the intricate hidden circuitry, focusing almost exclusively on the part Sufim. But, I have to challenge the premise here a little bit.
Oh, go ahead.
The text explicitly concedes that Cordovero's macro approach, seeing the universe strictly through these broad sephiro, was, quote, certainly true.
Right. It doesn't say he was wrong.
Exactly. The fundamental government of reality truly does depend on those 10 foundational powers. So if Cordovero successfully mapped the structural foundation, why does the text insist we actually need the ARI's hyper-detailed perspective?
Wow.
Like, if I know the house's load-bearing walls are mathematically sound, I don't necessarily need to know the diameter of every single copper pipe inside them, do I?
You do if you are trying to survive the rules of the house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the text addresses this tension head-on. If you only look at the Sephiro, you understand the governing forces, sure, but not their parts.
Right.
You know what comes out of them in a general abstract sense, but you have absolutely no grasp of the laws of control, as the text calls them.
Meaning, you know the house has a water source, but you don't actually know how to turn on the faucet.
Exactly that.
Ah.
The text argues that the Partsufim are the specific arrays in which the foundational powers extend and order themselves to actually govern reality.
Okay.
You can't just conceptualize a broad power. You have to understand the specific laws of how it controls physical and spiritual outcomes.
Okay, let's talk about those rules then.
Yeah.
Because in any thriller, there is this terrifying moment when the protagonist, trapped in this strange environment, finally realizes the specific rules of their confinement.
The parameters of survival.
Exactly. And this text outlines the strict parameters governing the universe. It claims that these 10 sephiros are not simply mystical concepts. They literally constitute the basic types of laws that govern the world.
Right. And the text specifies that these governing powers operate strictly along the lines of kindness, judgment, and mercy.
Okay, but this is where I get tripped up, and I think a lot of people do, because kindness and judgment sound like moral attributes, right? Not structural laws of a universe.
Right. We have to strip away the human emotional connotation here and look at the actual physics of it.
The physics of kindness.
Yeah. Kindness, in this framework, is unbridled expansion. It is the absolute, unrestricted giving of energy or light or existence itself.
So just purely outgoing energy.
Imagine a massive reservoir of water bursting its dam. That is kindness. But pure expansion is chaotic, right? It drowns everything.
Okay, so me aggressively overwatering my houseplants until the roots rot is technically an act of cosmic kindness. I'm just lacking the required boundary.
That is a very grounded and hellacious way to look at it. But yes, exactly. The boundary is judgment.
Ah, judgment.
Judgment is restriction. It's containment, limitation. It is the carved trench that catches the floodwaters.
So it gives it form.
Right. It provides the severity of form. Without judgment, everything just dissolves into infinite expansion. But without kindness, everything is crushed into nothingness by absolute restriction.
Wow, okay. And mercy, where does that fit in?
Mercy is the synthesis. It is the calculated irrigation system.
Oh, I see.
It takes the infinite expansion of kindness and carefully regulates it through the boundaries of judgment so that it actually sustains life rather than destroying it.
That makes so much sense.
And the text claims that all of reality is governed by laws falling into these mechanical categories.
And the text establishes a terrifyingly rigid limitation on these laws, right?
Right.
It states unequivocally there are exactly 10 powers.
10. And no more.
10. It cites early Kabbalistic texts like the Sefer Yetzirah and Cordovero's Pardes to back this up. But I gotta say, looking at the sheer chaos and complexity of the universe, the infinite variables in human psychology, the unpredictable physics of the cosmos,
It seems too simple.
boiling all of existence down to just 10 foundational laws feels like a radical oversimplification. How can an infinitely complex reality be governed by a system locked at the number 10?
Well, it is not an oversimplification. It is actually the engine of complexity.
How do you mean?
The text carefully defines these 10 as sugi-chukim, the basic types of laws. Think of them as fundamental algorithms.
Oh, okay.
Like, a computer's entire infinitely complex operating system is ultimately built on just two foundational states, right? 0 and 1.
Right.
Here, the text argues the universe is built on 10 foundational states.
So the 10 Sefaria are the zeros and ones.
Yes. And the Partsufim are the infinitely complex software programs written from them. The text lays down a strict sequential rule, which is, there is no Partsuf without a Sefaria.
Oh.
This means any highly detailed, chaotic event you experience in reality is a localized manifestation, a Partsuf, that must first be traced back to its foundational power, the Sefaria.
You can't analyze the software without understanding the binary code underneath it.
Exactly. And when you trace it back, you don't just broadly identify its root, you see its exact function.
Right.
When a Sefaria extends into a Partsuf, it divides into highly specific parts, aspects, and features. You see the detailed face of the law in operation.
But this sets up a massive mathematical tension in the text, doesn't it? If these 10 primary powers can mix, extend, and divide into detailed parts to create the functioning reality we interact with, the obvious question is,
How many parts did they divide into?
exactly.
How many?
Well, the logical assumption, given the infinite scale of the universe, is that the division would be infinite, and the text acknowledges this directly.
It does.
Yeah, it states, quote, "It is true that each Sefaria consists of 10, and there could have been any number of parts when the Sefaria divides up into its particulars.
Wow.
It could have been arbitrary. The universe could have fractured into an endless, completely unquantifiable chaos."
But it didn't.
No, it didn't.
The text reveals that the supreme thought, the mastermind behind this entire hidden architecture, made a deliberate, highly calculated decision to halt the division at a very specific number.
A number that changes the entire nature of the investigation. The Supreme Thought calculated the parts to be exactly 613.
The secret of 613.
This is like the moment in the story where the investigator wipes the dust off the central carving on the floor of the haunted house, sees the symbol, and realizes with absolute horror and awe that the house isn't alien at all.
It's familiar.
It's intimately familiar.
Right.
The text connects this specific number to the likeness of man, or Adam.
Right.
It states that a particular detail is only called a partsuf, a face, because it is ordered precisely according to this fundamental human structure.
The physical anatomy of the human being is the cipher. It's wild.
Wait, really? The physical anatomy?
Yes. The text points out that the human physical form consists of 248 bone and 365 sinews.
Oh my God.
And together they total 613. The micro perfectly reflects the macro.
That is mind-blowing.
But the text pushes the connection far beyond just mere physical biology. It maps this cosmic architecture directly onto human behavior as well.
The moral laws.
Yes.
The text highlights that the commandments of the Torah mirror this structure flawlessly. There are 248 positive commandments.
Yeah.
The actions you are required to perform.
Like the bones.
Exactly. And there are 365 prohibitions, the actions you are forbidden from taking.
Like the sinews holding you back.
Yes. The active movements mirror the 248 bones. The restraining boundaries mirror the 365 sinews.
It's perfect symmetry.
613 moral laws matching 613 physical components, matching 613 cosmic parts. And the text seals this revelation with the line, quote, "For everything goes according to this measure."
It fundamentally reorients our entire understanding of reality.
It really does.
I mean, we usually assume the universe is a massive, cold, impersonal void, right? And humanity is just this biological accident wandering through it. But this text argues the exact opposite.
Let's linger on that for a second, because the implications are just staggering. We're talking about causality here.
Yeah.
The text isn't saying that humans evolved and then coincidentally invented moral laws that happen to match some arbitrary cosmic math.
Not at all.
It is saying that the foundational laws of the universe, these vast, terrifying forces of kindness, judgment, and mercy, literally shaped themselves into this specific structural interface so that they could operate.
Yes.
And your physical body is the direct biological extrusion of those cosmic laws.
The physical shape facilitates the moral function. Consider the alternative for a second.
Okay.
If the universe's fundamental architecture was purely chaotic, there would be no framework for moral consequence.
Right.
But the supreme thought calculated reality to be an interactive moral arena.
An interactive moral arena. I love that phrase.
The bones and sinews, the active structural supports, and the restrictive bindings of your physical body, they are not just meat and tissue. They are the localized physical crystallizations of the divine laws of expansion and restriction.
We are the interface.
Yes.
When you look at the structure of a human being, you are looking at the functioning control panel of the universe.
You are looking at the parts of. the detailed face of the cosmic government.
Wow.
And the text is entirely consistent in its logic here. If there is no Partsif without a Sephira, then the intricate details of human life, our physical movements or moral boundaries, none of it can exist without the foundational cosmic forces driving them.
It is a deeply claustrophobic thought, honestly,
Right.
but also incredibly grounding at the same time.
It is.
We started this investigation feeling trapped in an alien, shadowy house with arbitrary architecture. We explored the broad foundations of the Sephira, realizing they operate on the strict mechanisms of unbridled expansion kindness and rigid restriction judgment.
Right.
We zoomed in with the ARI to see how those foundations power the detailed realities of the Partsufim.
We question the mechanics of those 10 foundational laws, discovering that they are essentially the primary algorithms from which infinite complexity is programmed.
And finally, we uncovered the master code, the realization that the infinite potential of the cosmos was deliberately calculated to manifest in the likeness of man.
The 613.
The 613 bones and sinews acting as the precise physical mirror for these 613 moral imperatives, all of it reflecting the intricate mathematical architecture of the universe itself.
You know, in an era where everyday life feels relentlessly chaotic and just totally random, a text like Klach, Pitchei, Chochma provides a really profound anchor.
Does it?
It suggests that the chaos is merely surface noise. Beneath it, there is a hyper-calculated blueprint. The events of reality are not arbitrary. They are governed by absolute laws, ordered with mathematical precision.
It tells you that the house isn't haunted by random ghosts, right? It is operating on a master code. The foundation is solid, even when the walls feel like they are closing in.
And you are intimately, biologically bound to that code.
Which leaves us with one final lingering thought to dissect, just a locked door for you to pry open on your own time.
Oh, I love these.
We've established that the mysterious architecture of the universe is a code built precisely in your image. But if the macrostructure of the entire cosmos is mathematically mapped onto the microstructure of your 248 bones and 365 sinews,
Yeah.
causality has to run in both directions, doesn't it?
Well, a mirror reflects whatever stands in front of it.
Exactly. If your physical form is the interface for the laws of kindness and judgment, then every moral choice you make isn't just a personal, isolated event. When you engage a sinew to hold back in restraint, or move a bone to act in kindness, you aren't just navigating a cold, empty universe. You are pulling a string on the very fabric of reality itself.
Every localized action here below must mathematically echo through the architecture above.
It's something to keep you awake tonight the next time you hear the floorboards settle in your own house. You might just be shifting the structure of the stars.
Keep investigating the blueprint, everyone.
Thanks for taking the deep dive with us.